Hello everyone, today we will talk about the Resize event. It is mostly relevant to B4i and B4J platforms. In B4a, when the activity size is changed, usually it happens when the user changes the device orientation, the activity is destroyed and a new activity is created. So activity create is called again and the layout is loaded again. This means that we don't need to handle the cases where the existing layout is resized in most cases. In B4J and B4i, the process is different. The page or form are never destroyed by the OS. Normally we load the layout once and we need to make sure that it is resized properly whenever the form or page are resized. As we will see, the same thing happens if a panel with a layout is resized. If you're using the Visual Designer, then everything will work as you expect. Let's see an example. This is a mirrored iPhone. I will add 4 buttons, each one in a different corner. The mirror device doesn't show the changes immediately. This is a casting issue. This one will be anchored to the right. To the bottom. And to the left. Okay. Let's start with running this example. We just need to load the layout. Now when I'm rotating the device, you can see that the buttons are moved correctly. Whenever a panel is resized, it raises the Resize event. In the case of the root panel, and this is the same as root pane in B4J, it raises the page resize event. Let's see when it is called. And we will also try to programmatically change the position of button 1. I'm using deep, although in B4J and B4i it will always be 1. The button kept its original position, and the reason that he did it is that whenever the panel or page is resized, the layout is set again with the anchors and the designer script and possibly a different variant. So this setting was ignored. We have two options. We can set it in the resize event. This event always fires right after the layout, the visual designer layout, was set. Let's try it. This time it worked. And there is another option. We can go back to the layout, move this one, and we can uncheck the handle resize event. From now on, the layout will not be reset when the parent or container is resized. Let's try it. And again, it almost works properly, but an interesting thing happens. The page is first loaded with a slightly different height. The anchors are not reapplied and it looks wrong. The same thing will happen if I'm changing the orientation. Once we disable the handle resize event feature, it means that we must manually set the layout in the resize event, like this. You can see that button 2 and 3 are resized correctly. It requires quite a lot of work to handle the resize event and change all the views. So normally you should let the visual designer do this work for you. Let's go back to the layout. And we will add panel in the middle. We need to stop the debugging app. And the resize event is enabled, and I want to show you that it also works with nested layouts. So I'm loading the same layout first to the page, to the root panel, and now to the inner panel. You can see that the buttons are correctly anchored. The inner buttons are smaller. This happens because of the auto scale all call. The layout is now loaded to a smaller container. Let's try it again. Now they are with the exact same size. The percentage X and Y units can be used in B4i. However, the only place where they are guaranteed to be correct is inside the resize event. The reason behind it is that in B4i there could be multiple pages visible at the same time, and for many aspects panels are treated as pages as well. The units are relative to the last resized container. Practically, you should only use them inside the resize event. We can see it. We can see it here because of the inner panel. Let's try it. The page was first created with this size. Inside the resize event, the height is correct. And now I'm clicking on the button and the size is completely wrong. It's actually the size of the inner panel. Instead of using percentage Y, we can always write it like this. Note that it will not work here. Let's try it. Because at this point the height is not yet known. As you can see, the resize event is very important, and this is the first place where the sizes are known. That's it. Thank you.